Hello, everyone. Good evening. Nice to meet all of you. All right. So today is my last session of the 4 days revision, free revision classes that I conduct in Facebook Live. So today we are going to talk about SBR. So how are you, ladies and gentlemen? So for those of you who are here, please say hi in the chat box. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please say hi. I want to see who is here today. Hello, welcome, welcome. Okay, welcome. Make yourself comfortable. Make sure you get you get a piece of paper in front of you while you listen to this live session, because I'm going to share with you some really practical tips that you can apply in your SBR exam. All right. So yes, do say hi. Yes, I see that some of my current students are here. All right. Hi, Joyce. Yeah. Hello, Alice. Hi, Jen. Hello, Ying Sing. Who else? Carrie. Hi. Rachel. Hi. Hello. Hi. All right. Yes, it's very good. It's very good. Yeah. Hi, Cynthia. Hello. Okay. Yes. Today we have there are 31 of you here currently watching the live stream today. Welcome. All right. First of all, I want to apologize. Originally, I scheduled it to be yesterday, but because of some very last minute issues, so I have to postpone it to today. But in any cases, you still have time to make some last minute effort for the SBI exam. Okay. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to cover for today quickly before we talk about the exam technique, right? So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, while waiting for me to share the screen, yeah, can you just type yes? Okay, just type yes in the group chat if you are taking the SBR exam this week. Ladies and gentlemen, type yes if you are sitting for the SBR exam this week. I just want to see roughly how many of you here are taking the exam, all right? So yeah, while waiting for me to just bring this screen up, you can just type yes. All right. Yes, it is up. Okay, yes, I do see a few. Okay, yes, basically those who reply, I can see that you are sitting for SBI exam. All right, very good. I wish you all the best. You can pass, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, this SBR paper is a passable paper. Okay, I can tell you this with confidence. If you apply the right technique, you can pass this paper. I mean, it is not the toughest paper in the strategic professional paper, right? If you look at passing rate, you will know it is not the lowest. The lowest is in the optional paper. So that one is tough. But SBR still manageable. It's just that your study process might be a bit challenging. But once you get through that, you can see that you can answer it. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to talk about. Today I'm going to talk about mainly focusing on the SBR September December 2021 question. I won't be able to cover everything. Of course, it's impossible for me to cover everything, but I'm going to focus on question one, question two, especially ethics. I want to tell you how do you maximize your marks in ethics, and a short question from question four, where they ask about the investor focus question. Okay, so today you get a chance to see how I normally guide my student to write answers that has relationship with accounting standard. You get to see how I write answer on ethics as well as investor focus questions. So three areas that I'm going to focus for today. So it's quite a lot. It will be quite intensive. So hence, I think the time for this live stream, I expect it will be extended. It should end at 10 o'clock. So yeah, just take note about that. Now, before we begin, you should know roughly the SBR format, the SBR exam format. So what is in the SBR exam format? You know that SBR exam is a 3 hours and 15 minutes paper. It consists of four questions. Okay, so what is certain is question one, you definitely get a question on group account. Okay, plus maybe some other standard. That is quite confirmed. Okay, it is quite confirmed. You'll get group account plus other standard. But as you know, group account, you won't be getting a full cash flow. You won't be getting a full console SOPL or console SOP. It's quite important. It's unlikely. Yeah. But the focus will be on calculation. The focus will be on calculation plus explanation, with most of the marks focusing on explanation, of course. Although do not neglect calculation. Reason being, some student, they focus so much on explanation, but they don't go and calculate, and they couldn't explain well because of lack of calculation. So you need to make sure that you balance both. Question 2 will be a combination of accounting treatment question plus ethics. All right, plus ethics. And I'm going to show you ethics is actually very easy to answer. It's very easy to answer. So there are tricks for you to follow. And you just look at the case, you will roughly know what to write. You will roughly know what is wrong. You will know what to write. Now, question 3 and question 4 here, you are going to get some investor focused question. Now, meaning to say, right, because SBR is a syllabus that wants you to not just think from the accountant point of view. You see, we have been studying accounting standard. We always think of, oh, we should debit this, we should credit that, we should disclose this, we should disclose that. Yes, that's what we learn. But have you ever considered when we prepare financial statement, who are we preparing it to? Are we preparing to ourselves? Or are we preparing to the investor? So that is why the SBR forced us to think from both angles, not just from the preparer point of view, but we should also think from the perspective of the investor or other lender or creditor that is reading the financial statement. So hence, investor focused question. Of course, question 3 and question 4, you get accounting treatment question as well. You may get current issue, but current issue appears in any one of the question. But historically, you see that current issue appear in either question 3 or 4. But I'm not saying that current issue only appear here. Current issue can appear in question 1 or question 2 as well. So that is the general idea. Now, the thing is, SBR is a combination of the previous paper FR plus some new standard that you learn in SBR. Both are required, unfortunately. So you need to have some basic knowledge. So what is the key if you want to score in this paper? I'm going to share with you the technique first, because most of the question is focusing on accounting standard. Okay, like it or not, most of the question focus on accounting standard. So you have to know the technique to write that can help you to maximize your marks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, the technique that I share with you, right, is a very powerful technique. If you use it in exam, you can really get a lot of marks one. So, but to apply it, right, you need to have some knowledge on your head, lah. Of course, if you don't have any knowledge, you can't use this method, right? So, assuming that if you have already been studying accounting standard diligently, you use this method, right, to write the answer, you will find out that, hey, you can actually write quite a lot, you can actually write quite a lot and marks are awarded like that. Now, how do I know? My previous student who, when they sit for exam, right, I guide them when they sit for exam, they not just pass, they can score really good marks. Like I have students who scored 80 plus, 70 plus. I have even one student, in the September 2021 sitting, she scored 87 and she got Malaysia #1, world #3. My student Tan Si Xian. Okay, you can check my Facebook profile. I'm not joking. So she followed my method. And this method actually helped her to produce a lot of marks, despite the fact that she said, wow, it's very tough, but that method actually helps. So, ladies and gentlemen, you better jot this down, all right? You better jot this down. In answering questions involving accounting standard, you have two methods only. Okay, so I call it method 1, okay, or method 2. Okay, method 1 or method 2. It is a variation of the method only. Method number 1, you write it like this. First, you quote the accounting treatment. Notice I say quote accounting treatment. I do not say quote the standard. You need to put in the keywords only. The keywords. Do you need to put in things like according to IFRS 8 segment reporting? Do you need to do that? No need. You do not need to remember the standard number. You do not need to remember the standard name. The examiner just want to look at the keywords only. Okay, the examiner just want to look at keywords only. For example, investment in associate. The examiner, when they mark your script, they are going to look at these two words: significant influence. So these are the words which you have to learn. You have to put it down first. You put it down. If it is relevant to the case, or it is relevant to the question, you get 1 mark straight away. Okay, you will straight away get 1 mark. Then afterward, right, you copy from the case. Right, you copy the information from the case. Copy means Control C, Control V. Maybe you are worried, hey, can I do that? Will the examiner penalize me? Don't worry. My student who scored 80 plus, right, they also copy. They just Control C, Control V. Take note, Control C, Control V, no mark. There's no mark here. I must make a disclaimer. There's no mark for you to do that. No mark. But why do you still need to copy from the case? If you don't copy, right, you don't know how to explain. So you copy, it will make your answer looks longer and you will be able to explain further. Now, the most important one, if you really want to pass, is step number 3. You have to apply. You have to comment. Now, this is the most important one. And this is the part, right, where you must try your best to say, okay, the standard says like this. The standard says like this, and the case is like this. When we try to apply, it should be this, should be that. So this one is your own opinion. Your own opinion. It can be your own opinion. Can you capitalize? Can you use equity accounting? Can you consolidate the subsidy? Your opinion. You must try and apply. This is where the marks will come from. So how do you write SBR answer? Repeat this step many, many times. Repeat, 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 repeat. You have the full answer already. Just keep on repeat this. Just keep on repeat these 3 steps. You are going to get the full answer already. Now, method 2, right, is similar to method 1. Basically, I just switch the order only. You can either copy from case first. If you don't know how to start, some students want to copy from case first, no problem. Then they will also quote the accounting treatment. They will also quote the accounting treatment, meaning to say they are going to say, okay, so blah, blah, blah has incurred blah, blah, blah on blah, blah, blah. Copy from the case. According to the standard on impairment, impairment says blah, 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 blah. Then we apply. Okay, we apply, we comment, okay, or we give our opinion. All right, it's the same. You realize that actually 1 or 2 switch only. It's the same. You keep on repeat this technique, you are going to get your answer already. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so far, are you still with me? If you're still with me, right, you type 555. Let me have a look in the group chat. 555. Are you still with me? You trust me. This is the method you use. You don't use other method. You use this method. Is cukup makan, we say. Cukup makan. 555. If you're still with me, roughly know the concept already on how do you write SBR answer. 555. Yeah, buku nota. 555 buku nota. Yes. Okay, good. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to show you how do you use these 2 methods. I'm going to show you how do you use these 2 methods to answer some question. I'm going to select some sample question from the September, December sitting. You see how I use this method, how I copy, how I quote the standard, how I apply, all right? So now I'm going to open this one. I'm going to open this. This is, as you can see, the September, December 2021 exam, right? The September, December 2021 exam. Okay, so this is question number 1. So question number 1 is definitely about console. Okay, so you have this requirement, right? You have this requirement. So a good idea is you copy this, all right? You copy this. You just copy this and you open the word processor. Okay, you open the word processor and you just paste it in. Okay, it's a bit messy. We're going to make it not so messy. Okay, we're going to make it not so messy. Wait. Okay, this is 2. And this is 3. Okay, it's okay. It's worth your time because if you put it like this, right, you are going to save a lot of time. You don't need to keep on opening the requirement marks. So yeah, this one, whether the classification is this one, okay, then B. And then B on the assumption, explain this and this. Now, in the exam, if you don't want to adjust all those space, right, it's okay also. It doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, so we are done. All right, then I can close this. Now, let's see. So first thing, before I read any SBR question, okay, I don't read the case. I will read the requirement because the requirement will tell me roughly what to write. Now, first thing first is that, ladies and gentlemen, when you answer SBR question, you must read the question carefully. The examiner in the examiner report, they commented that, do you know that sometimes students don't read properly and the answer all is totally wrong one. The answer, the way that they answer totally go off one. So you see, the Here it says you have to draft an explanatory note to the director to address the following issue. Number one, why it was correct to initially classify Greencore as an associate as opposed to a subsidiary on 1st of April 20X2. Now, the question already tell you why it is correct to classify as an associate. So your answer, please, ladies and gentlemen, please, you must say that it is an associate. You don't go and say it is joint venture. You don't go and say it is investment. You don't go and say it is subsidiary. You have to follow the question. The question already say why it is correct. So make sure you look at this carefully. Why it was correct. So no matter what, you talk about why it is correct. And take note also, they ask you as opposed to a subsidiary. So which means you have to discuss both sides. Why it is an associate? Why is it not subsidiary? Now to answer this question, immediately in your head, you should start to think already. Now associate, what's the keyword? Associate, so you start to brainstorm. Associate, what's the keyword? Okay, this should come to your mind. Associate should be significant influence, right? It should be significant influence, meaning to say power to participate. Okay, but if you have a significant influence, you have a power to participate in the decision making. Okay, then we know that associate is normally 20% to 50%. Normally, normally. Although it is possible that it is 19%, but it is associate, it is also possible that you have 52%, it is associate. Why? Substance over form. Okay, substance over form is not necessarily based on the percentage alone, but it is just a guide. Okay, now I think of associate, I think of significant influence. What about subsidiary? Subsidiary, right, would be control. Okay, subsidiary would be control. Now, control, according to the relevant standard, okay, consists of a few points. I use the PEA shortcut to remember. Okay, P for power, E for exposure to variable return. Okay, A is ability to use power to affect return. So PEA, normally I remember control using PEA. Power over the subsidy. If you control someone, you have power over the subsidy, you have exposure to the variable return, you have the ability to use the power to affect the return. Some theory. So you see, I just put down the theory first. Subsidiary. And subsidy, I know. Subsidiary is also normally more than 50%. So you see, all these points, right, are what you learn. You can learn this before the exam. So in the exam, when I see this, I immediately put down. Why? Scared, I nervous, forgot When I still remember, I put that in. That is the whole idea. So we put it in first. Whether or not are we going to use it, we don't know. We decide later. Okay, we decide later. Okay, so now we know the first one they want us to say, why is it associate, but not subsidy? Now, second, how Greencore should be accounted for as an associate using the equity method, okay, in the console SOFP for X6. Your answer should also explain how the revaluation of the land was accounted for and also the relevant calculation. Okay, so 5 marks. So hence, question number 2 is focusing on calculation with a bit of explanation. All right, should be able to do that. We see the case. Now, number 3, whether the classification of Chakra Core investment should change. Whether should it change? So, okay, something changed. Something changed. So, Greencore originally is an associate. Okay, originally they are an associate. Should it change? So now in my mind, I start to think, maybe they sell off the associate, or maybe they buy more until it becomes subsidy. Okay, so maybe there are some changes in the group structure. Okay, we need to read, then only we know. But you see here, on the assumption that Chakra Core obtains control, explain how the fair value of the non-current and current asset at acquisition, including deferred tax, should be calculated, and how goodwill or gain on bargain purchase should be calculated. You need to also have a brief description on the accounting treatment for additional purchase of 18% in green call. Okay, so now I know by reading the requirement, I roughly know already. So originally it was an associate. Then afterward, they get 18%. So you roughly you see get 18%. I don't know how many percent, but when they say obtains control, the question is giving you a hint. For this part, right? A hint that it should be changed to subsidiary. Just a hint. It's just a hint. The examiner is trying to tell you, look, I give you a clue. We want you to assume that they have control. How do we calculate goodwill? So I have a feeling like, I don't think the examiner is trying to play a fool with me. I think the examiner, when the examiner want to set the question, the examiner must be thinking, okay, I want the student to comment that it is a subsidiary. Then logically, we will talk about the calculation if it becomes a sub-C. So you see, because normally, right, when the examiner, they design question, normally there is a flow one. Okay, so number one, question one, then go to question two, question three, question four. There should be a flow. So I am thinking, my answer now should be, it should be sub-C. It should be sub-C, but should be only. You never know. Examiner suddenly will want to prank you. You also don't know, right? So, but it's just that I have a feeling it should be sub-C. So I take note. I take note. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is how I read the requirement. Are you still with me so far, ladies and gentlemen? If you're still with me, you type 222. Okay, let me see. You type 222 if you're still with me. Because I'm teaching you, when you read the requirement, there are many information that you can extract, which may help you. So you try and think of it like this. All right, 222. Yes, I can see that. So you understand already. Very good. Yes, at least also type out PA. Yeah, that is a very good acronym, to remember control under IFRS 10. That is a very good acronym. Okay, good. Now, let us start to read the question. I close this. Okay, Chakra Core has an equity interest in a number of entities, including Green Core. So all the question, right, is about Green Core. Everything is about Green Core. So I think the examiner, when they set the question, the examiner must be laughing. Green means a big smile, right? If someone green, it means a big smile. Chaka means like that. So I think the examiner is in a very happy mood. Okay, it's okay. It's just a name. Chaka Core has recently acquired additional equity in Green Core, and the director of Chaka Core are unsure as to how this may impact the console financial statement. Year end is 31st March. Okay. Following exhibit, provide information relevant to the question. Okay, we have initial acquisition. Exhibit 1, initial acquisition is 30%. Okay, so I know initial is 30%. So it reminds me, the first one is 30%. So I just jot down here 30%. So yeah, should be an associate, 30%. Now what else? Subsequent they buy 18%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you get this right, you should start to count already. 30 plus 18, 48 only, y'all. 48 only, y'all. So this one, right, is 48%. 48% only, shareholding. You see, just below 50%. If it is 51, we know for sure is 51 very likely is sub-C. But 48, okay, so this one, now I know already. The examiner want us to think of substance over form. Is 48%, can we still treat it as a sub-C? The answer is it is possible. The answer is it is possible if you fulfill PEA. Okay, and there are something that you might not know. So later on, I explain to you, you may see. Okay, then fair value of the net asset as at 1st of April. 1st of April, as you can see, is the date when they buy the additional 18%. Now, there is this thing called share option. This is something which is a bit crucial, share option. They purchase a share option on 1st of April 2026. Then they have fair value of net asset of this one. Okay, so now let's read the initial acquisition, exhibit 1. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, on 1st of April 20x2. 1st of April is the original one. 1st of April 20x2. Acquire 30%. Okay, good. Acquire 30% of equity shares in Green Core. Consideration is 100 million cash. Okay, the carrying amount of the net asset of Greencore on 1st of April. So carrying amount of net asset of Greencore on 1st of April were 286 million. Okay, so originally as at the date of acquisition on 1st of April, X2, 286. It was the same as the fair value. Since then, it has been correctly treated as an associate. You see, the examiner so scared, you don't see this as associate. So the examiner tell you here correctly. Then at the requirement here also tell you why it was correct. So hopefully you really see the word correct. If you go on and say it is wrong, sorry. Okay, so read the question carefully. Trust me, SBR examiner is one of the kindest examiner that I've seen in ACCA paper. Trust me, I can tell you why. A lot of things, the examiner is hinting you. You don't know only. You don't know only, but really, the examiner is one of the kindest that I see in the ACCA paper. Is if you compare with a paper like auditing, auditing examiner more cruel, I think. More cruel because of the level of competency involved. But SBR is really kind. Trust me, they are really kind. Okay, the remaining 70%, the remaining 70%, okay, this one you see, you buy 30, the remaining 70% of equity of Greencore as at this date is owned by a few other investors. Take note, a few other investors meaning to say there are a few people, not many. If they want to tell you many investors, they will definitely say many. A few could be 5 to 6 or maybe 10, a few only, a few. This is a bit crucial. Later on, you will know why this is crucial. But take note, it means that the group structure, you are 30%, so you are like the Taiko. Taiko means big brother. Because the rest here is, you see, none of which own more than 10% of the equity of Greencore. So which means that you see 70%, the remaining 70%, each one of them doesn't own more than 10. So they are like small kaki, and you yourself has 30%. So the question is, does this tantamount to control? Do you control the company? We will see in a short while. Analysis has shown that all shareholders has voted independently in the past. This is also relevant. You need to talk about this later. They voted independently. Now, which means what? They don't really work together. They don't really work together. When shareholder work together is a very scary thing, If you watch enough drama, if you watch enough drama, like those corporate drama, if shareholder works together, they can kick someone out one, maybe you can't, maybe you tell me, hey, got such drama I ever seen before, but if you can't relate, you think of politics, people also work like that, right? People cooperate, then they kick someone out. Suddenly, then you see, how come the government changed? I think I say something wrong already. Oops. Okay, anyway, Chaka Core and Green Core, they share some key management personnel, which means Chaka Core is the parent. The parent and this Green Core, they have they share some key management personnel. Now, who is key management personnel? Key management personnel is like director. The director, executive or non-executive director, they are key management personnel. They can be, non-independent director. They can be independent director. They can be, even the CEO, CFO. Those who are in the position to control to control the affair of the company, those are called key management personnel. Okay, these are also relevant. Okay, I see some comment. AA, a lot of traps. AA was, my first paper was AA. So far, still okay. Yeah, okay lah. If you know the tricks, it's okay. Sounds it happened in a hotel. Okay, no. Let's not talk about that. But the thing is, you see, ladies and gentlemen, we analyze this. Okay, again, let's look at hint. We look at the hint. Should you say green is a subsea? The question already tell you correct. So no matter what, you die say it is associate. No matter what, you must die say it is associate. Although you may start to think, is it control or not? But stop the thoughts. Just die, no matter what, you die say it is associate. If you say it is not an associate, sorry, your marks won't be allowed. Okay, remember. Okay, with this in mind, let me tell you how to write. Okay, so you choose which one you want. I think I'm going to go for method one. I will talk about the accounting treatment first. Okay, I'll talk about the accounting treatment first. Then I copy from the case, I try to comment. You see how I apply this method. Okay, see, Okay. An entity, okay, an entity has an associate if the entity has significant influence over associate. Significant influence means power to participate in the decision making of the associate. So okay, you see this one, you see the first sentence, the first sentence, I don't really say according to IAS 28, right? I don't say that. Okay, I don't say according to the standard on associate, whatever. I don't say that. I just say an entity has an associate if the entity has significant influence. Keyword. Okay, significant influence means power to participate. Okay, then I'm going to say associate. Okay, normally an entity has an associate if the shareholding is of the if the shareholding of the entity over the associate is around 20% to 50% normally. All right, now you see this part is quote the accounting treatment. Copy from the case. All right, copy from the case. You see the first one is 30%, right? 30%. So I copy. You see, I copy, paste. Okay, you see, copy, paste. So accounting treatment, copy from the case, comment. The shareholding, the 30% shareholding seems to indicate that Green Core is an associate. That is called comment, ladies and gentlemen. You see, this sentence is called comment. Standard requirement, the first two paragraphs, copy from the case, and you say, this one seems to indicate it is an associate. So you see, when you write like this, the examiner know you are applying this rule to this information in the case. Now, what else can we apply? What else can we apply? Okay, I want to talk about this. Okay, the remaining 70%, the remaining 70% is owned by a few other investors. So I copy this sentence, right? I copy this sentence. The remaining 70% of equity, blah, 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 is owned by few other investors, none of which own more than 10% of equity. Okay, then here, I also want this analysis shown that all shareholders has voted independently in the past. Okay, so then I comment. You see, this is I copy from the case. Copy from the case, no marks, but then I comment. Now, what does this shows you? This shows that Green Core does not cooperate with other shareholder. Okay, this shows that not Green, Chucker. This shows that Chucker Core does not cooperate with other investor. Okay, in terms of decision making, right? Does not cooperate with other investor in terms of decision making. Okay, as such, it is unlikely that Chucker Core controls Green Core. Right? Unlikely, because you see, you yourself own 30. If you want to control another entity, you can't. You only have 30%. In order to do that, you have to cooperate with someone. Cooperate with someone. Maybe you find one or two or three friends. Together, you add up, then suddenly you have more than 50%. You work together, then you can control already. So normally, we look at whether are there any shareholder agreement. In this case, no such thing because they voted independently. As far as I'm concerned, they are independent. So, which means that Chucker don't work with them. If they don't work with them, unlikely they have control. Unlikely. So you see, this is comment. This is our comment. Okay, you remember PEA, right? So maybe we can say, we can bring in this PEA if you want. Okay, an entity controls another entity. Okay, when the investor, okay, then I can put in PEA. if you want, because this is relevant, by the way, how many marks is this? 4 marks, right? Actually, your answer that I've written, even though you don't write this, you can also almost get full marks already. I'm just showing you, if you can, I'm just showing you all the answer that you can write. It's not necessary that you must write PEA. If you want, of course, you can write, but take note of the time. So you can say, when the investor has power over the another entity, has exposure to variable return from the involvement with the another entity, okay, has ability to use its power to affect the return from the another entity. Okay. Then you can say, for Chaka call, this does not appear to be the case. Okay, this does not appear to be the case. As such, green call should not be a subsidiary. You see, again, standard, apply, conclude, not a subsidiary. Now, do we have any other thing? Okay, the last sentence, copy, last sentence, copy. Okay, Chaka call and green call share some key management personnel. Copy, comment. This shows that the key management personnel of Chaka call can participate in the decision making of green call. In conclusion, green call is an associate. Kau team done. Okay, so you see, that is how you answer. No matter how the answer is complicated in the examiner answer, you only stick to this. You can write a lot of things. Trust me, you can really write a lot of things. So I repeat, I want you to see the technique. Okay, I want you to see the technique. So, yeah, I better put a line in between so that we know so that the examiner know which one is your answer. You see, first copy from the case. What is an associate? We apply 30% should be an associate. Remaining 70% independently, so they does not cooperate. Unlikely they control. And we further elaborate by saying control means this doesn't seem to be the case, so not subsi. Finally, share some key management personnel. They have the power to participate in decision making. Conclusion is an associate. Done. Have we answered the question? Discuss why it was correct to classify as associate. Yes. Yes, as opposed to subsidiary, not subsidiary. Okay, good. We have already done commenting already. All right. Okay. Just to confirm with you, are we allowed to write in point form like the one we wrote for PEA? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you are referring to this, right? Okay, you see, you try and read the question. An entity controls another entity when the investor is actually continuous, It is a full sentence. I just put it in a point form so that it is easier for the marker to see my point. If you read an entity controls another entity when the investor has power over another entity, then this hyphen, and then exposure to variable return from the investment with another entity, and then ability to use the power, has ability to use the power. So when you read, it is a full sentence. So in answering this question, Rachel, yes, you can write like that. Make sure when you read, right, it's a full sentence. It's a full sentence. So yeah, no problem. That's a very good question. No problem. I actually advise my student to write like this as well. So no problem. Okay. So yep, we have done with the first one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go on. So let us just okay. I just quickly do this. But I will just show you the calculation and I will show you the point form. Okay, because now is 8:42. Okay, I need time to talk about the ethics as well. So let us try and quickly look through this and you see how to calculate. So how should green call be accounted for as an associate using equity method as at 31st March? Okay, and then you need to explain how revaluation of the land in Exhibit 2 and include all the relevant calculation. Okay, so here, because it is a calculation question, I'm going to use the spreadsheet. Okay, I'm going to use a spreadsheet. Normally, I will use this like appendix. Okay, I'll type the word appendix. So later on, you know, in my answer, right, I can say, refer to the appendix for the calculation of blah, blah, blah. So at least when the examiner, no, appendix in the spreadsheet. If you do like this, right, the examiner or the marker, when they look at the answer, they'll be very pleased. They know, oh, okay, we have to refer to the appendix. It makes it systematic for the marker to follow your advice, to follow your working. Okay, so appendix, now we need to calculate the investment in associate. So maybe I'll just put W1. Okay, I put W1 because there might be some other working as well. So W1 is working. Working one is investment in associate. Green call. Right? Investment in associate. Okay, so let me just adjust this. Dollar, I need to put in dollar million. By the way, for those of you who are sitting for SBR for the first time, just in case, I mean if you sit for computer-based exam for the first time, just so you know, Excel for ACCA, you cannot insert column, you cannot insert row. So please take note of that. Okay, just take note of that. You can't do that. So just be careful. All right, this one, how do you calculate the investment in associates? So we need the cost of investment first. Okay, we did the cost of investment. So cost of investment here is 100 million cash. Okay, 100 million. Okay, then we have this share of post-acquisition reserve. We have share of post-acquisition reserve. Now, equity accounting, right, means post-acquisition increased by how much? You have to multiply by the percentage. In this case, 30%. So here we know the carrying amount, you look at this, the carrying amount of the net asset as at 1st of April is 2 at 6. I need to look at exhibit 2 to see more information. Okay, where is it? All right. So Chaka call, I look at the question first. Up to 31st March X6. Okay, got it. 31st March X6, 1 day before the acquisition of the further 18%. So they acquire a further 18% of green on 1st of April 20X6. The consideration for the further 18% is 66. I'll look at this later. But I want to look at this. This one, you see. The carrying amount of the net asset of green core, this one, on 1st of April 20X6 was 348 million. Okay, was 348 million, which includes some land which has been revalued upward. There are some land which has been revalued upward by 15 million and correctly accounted for on 1st of April 20X5. There is a deferred tax of 20% on the gain in the individual financial statement of green core. So which means that when there is this revaluation gain of 15 million, it attracts deferred tax of 20%. The rest of the increase in the net asset is solely due to profit. So green core paid no dividend during the period. Okay, so the rest is due to profit. Okay, so now on a very simple, on a very simple calculation, it is like this. You see, the net asset, right? The total net asset increased to 348. So on a very basic level, is 348 minus the original 286. So 348 minus 286, okay, minus 286, then multiply by 30%. Right, it's here. Okay, you look at the top one here, it's easier for you to refer. Okay, so you see, that is the very basic idea. From 286, it increased to 348. So we find the difference and we share 30%. That is 18.6. So the balance of the associate as at 1st of April 20X6 would be this one. Okay, that is the very basic level. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, because of the question requirement, they want us to explain on the revaluation of the land. So which means this figure here, 18.6, okay, this figure here, 18.6, I highlight this one. You need to split this because this 18.6 consists of profit increase as well as revaluation increase. So what do you mean by that? Now you can see, okay, you can see. We do a notes to this working. So let us deal with the revaluation first. There is a revaluation upward by 15 million. Now, if you know, revaluation is recorded in where? Revaluation surplus. Okay, so I will put a note here. Note, share of revaluation surplus. So there is a revaluation upward of 15 million. So 15 million. But then there is also a deferred tax of 20%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when there is a deferred tax on the revaluation, what's going to happen? So let me write for you the double entry in case if you forgot. In case if you forgot. For revaluation with deferred tax, the double entry is like this. So you debit PPE and you credit OCI or you credit revaluation surplus. Okay, let's just say 100. At the same time, because revaluation surplus, when there is a gain, it attracts deferred tax. Now, why is there a deferred tax? In the future, when you sell the PPE, it might be subject to some tax, such as real property gain tax. So you credit deferred tax liability, you take 100 multiplied 20%, so it's 20, and then you are going to debit OCI or revaluation surplus. So it's 20. Now, which means, if you look at that, right, the amount that goes to OCI is actually the figure net of tax. 100 minus 20% tax, which is 80. So that is revaluation. This will be revaluation with deferred tax. Revaluation with deferred tax, you do it like this. So using this principle, if you bring it back to here, the revaluation surplus is 15 million minus 15 million multiplied 20%. That will be the revaluation surplus in the associate. 15 minus the deferred tax. And you are going to share 30%. You're going to share 30%. So that will be 3.6. Okay, that will be 3.6. So which means share of retained earning will be 18.6 minus 3.6. That will be 15. Total 18.6. So we have effectively analyzed this 18.6 into their respective share of revaluation surplus and share of retained earning. So once you got this already, you can bring it to your to your word processor here. Now, I won't type the full answer for you, but I just want you to have a look. Okay, you have a look. It will be something like this. So how green call should be accounted for as an associate using equity method? So we can say, roughly, I will say the investment in associate of green call as at 31st March 20x6 would be calculated by adding the cost with something. Okay, so I don't type the full answer. Will be calculated by adding what? Adding this, the cost of investment with the share of post-acquisition reserve. Okay, of how much? Which equal to 118.6 million. Now, of course, maybe it is a good idea that we put this in front. Okay, refer to Appendix 1 for the calculation of the investment associate. So yeah, then we first explain this. Okay, then we will say out of the share of post-acquisition reserve of 18.6 million, Okay, part of it relates to share of revaluation surplus, which is calculated as the revaluation gain of 15 million minus the deferred tax of 20% of how much? Okay, and multiplied with 30% share. So you see, the idea is you just try and put the calculation as part of your explanation like this. Okay, as part of explanation. So you see, again, out of the share of this 18.6, part of it relates to the share of revaluation surplus. And then how do you calculate? You calculate by taking the revaluation gain of 15 million minus the deferred tax and then multiply with 30% share. Okay, then you can say the remaining, the remaining 15 million, okay, would be the share of retained earning of Greencore. Okay, just write something like that and you will get the marks already. Okay, so anyway, I just show you the calculation. At least when you look at the model answer, you will roughly know what is it. Okay, now I still have a little bit more time. I just want to show you. I want to show you this one. Okay, I want to show you this. Whether the classification of charter call investment in green call should change on 1st of April. Now, because this part it might be new to you. Okay, it might be new to you. So I want to look at this part. So let me close this. Okay, let me close this. And yeah, let's read this. Okay, let's read this. So what happened is, ladies and gentlemen, what happened is here, you see, they acquire a further 18%. They acquire a further 18%. So you can say, okay, you can say, yeah, 48% shareholding, 48% shareholding. Maybe you can say, generally, a subsidiary, an investor would have a subsidiary when the investor owns more than 50% of the shares. But this is 48%. This is 48%. So other factors has to be considered. Okay, so other factors have to be considered. So that's how you write your answer. Okay, 48% you copy from the case. So generally, it would be a subsidiary when the investor own more than 50%. Okay, and control. Okay, and the investor, don't forget, and the investor controls the subsidiary. But since this is 48%, other factors has to be considered. Okay, other factor has to be considered to determine whether there is control or not. Now, we read this carefully. See, the remaining 52% of the equity of Greencore as at 1st of April 2026 is owned by few other investors. Again, is by few other investors, not many investors, none of which own more than 10% of the equity shares of Greencore. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I change this question a little bit, and if I tell you that no, it's not owned by a few other investors, but it is owned by many investors which are, independent, which are unconnected. So which means you have 148% considered a very big shareholding already. The rest are very, very small investors. Now, in that case, obviously you are controlling. Okay, obviously you are controlling. But in this case, because of there are few other investors, they can collaborate, they might be able to collaborate with each other, and then they can go against you. So that's why we need to look at other factors. So hence you can bring this in. Let me show you how to write this. Okay, you can copy from the case. This one. Okay, so after you say 48% should be 50% and control, so that's why other factor has to be considered. Look at this. The remaining 52% is owned by few other blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can say in the event, if the remaining shareholders consist of large number, okay, if they consist of large number unconnected, large number unconnected and dispersed shareholder. Okay, which means if the remaining shareholders are large number, they are not connected, they are very dispersed, okay, control would be achieved. You can write like this. This is a general rule. A general rule. If the remaining shareholder is very unconnected, they are dispersed, yes, in that case, control is. But in this case, okay, so sorry, this is not the case. Okay, this is not the case. Huh? Okay, however, this is not the case. All right, ladies and gentlemen, up to this point, right? Up to this point, you will see that how I structure my answer. How I structure my answer is I am trying to discuss it. I'm trying to discuss, can we apply this criteria? Seems like cannot. Can we apply that criteria? Seems like cannot. So you are allowed to do that. You are allowed to just try and discuss. Huh? Okay, now what else can you say? You need to read on. Now, on 1st of April 2006, Charter Core also acquired some share option. They also acquired some share option in Green Core, which is exercisable anytime until 31st March 2007. The exercise price of the option as at this date was just above the market price of Green Core share. Okay, so what is this? Charter Core also buy some share option. Now, what is a share option? Share option is a financial instrument which allow you to buy the shares of the company. And the key things is it is exercisable anytime until this March. So it means that the share option is currently exercisable. Now, for your information, if you are not, if you don't know about this, actually this share option is known as potential voting rights. It is known as potential voting rights. What is potential voting rights? You look at it. Share options allow you to buy shares in the future, right? It allows you to buy share in the future. So in the future, you can have this voting right. In the future, you can have this voting right. So it is called potential voting right. For your information, when we consider whether we control an entity or not, we need to see whether there is any potential voting right. Okay, we need to see whether there are any potential voting right. In this case, there is a potential voting right in the form of share option, and the criteria is the potential voting right must be substantive. That is the word in the standard. What does substantive mean? Substantive means it is currently exercisable. Now, do you see that whether is this currently exercisable? Yes, it is currently exercisable. If I change the question a bit, ladies and gentlemen, if I change it a bit, if I say, the share option, currently you cannot exercise the share option. You have to wait 1 year later, then only you exercise the share option. In that case, you cannot take that into consideration, okay, because that is something in the future. In order for us to be able to consider this share option, remember the first one. You may want to jot this down. I think I jot it down for you. It's easier for you to take notes also. The idea is like this. Potential voting rights, okay, potential voting right need to be taken into account. Okay, it will be taken into account in considering, okay, control over an investee. Okay, if it is substantive. Okay, potential voting right will be taken into account in considering whether an entity control an investee. Okay, in considering whether they control an investee. Substantive means it is currently exercisable. Okay, substantive here means it is currently exercisable. Currently exercisable means currently you can exercise it. Currently you can exercise your rights to buy the shares. Now, not just that, normally we will expect that it is likely for the entity to exercise the rights. Okay, it is also likely for the entity to exercise the rights. Now, what does it mean? When you have share option, for example, when you have share option. Now, for those of you who don't know what is a share option is a right to purchase shares, okay, at a fixed price. Okay, at a fixed price. Something. In order for the entity to be likely to exercise this share option, the so-called this price is called the exercise price. Okay, the exercise price. The exercise price should be lower than the market value. Okay, I give you one example. For example, if I give you the right to purchase the shares at $10, you can buy the shares from me at $10. And I tell you, market price is 20. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you answer this question in the group chat. You let me know. If you have a share option, right, where you can buy the shares for $10, outside the market is 20. Are you going to buy from me? You type yes if you will buy from me. Is it cheaper? Are you going to buy from me? Because outside is 20, Outside is 20, I sell you for 10 only. You have the right to buy from me for 10. Are you going to buy from me? Yes or no? Type yes if you're going to buy from me. Are you going to buy from me? I think you're going to buy from me, right? Yes, I see that some of you say yes. So in this case, it fulfills this one. Is it currently exercisable? Yes. Currently, can you buy from me? Yes. Is it likely that you will exercise the right to buy at 10? Yes. If it fulfills these two, then it is substantive. Okay, then it is substantive. We apply this to the standard. Now, if you see, that's why this one, is it in the SBR syllabus? Yes, it is. Okay, it is in the syllabus. This issue came out before previously. So now it is being re-examined. So it's okay. If you don't know about this prior to watching my live, now you know. Okay, now you know. It's a very logical thing. To study standard, right, you can understand the logic one. You can only consider this share option as a valid control if you can exercise it now, and it will be likely for you to exercise the right. Now, if you tell me, in the future only I can exercise, don't consider about that future event. And if you tell me, yes, I have share option, but I don't think I will exercise, then what for you consider? No need to consider. So that's why currently exercisable, likely for you to exercise the right. Okay, look at this. And now you have this prerequisite knowledge already. You see, the exercise price of the option is above the market price. Ayo, the exercise price is above the market price. Not a good thing. Okay, not a good thing. So maybe you can write this down. Currently exercisable and likely to exercise the share option. So in this case, it is currently exercisable. However, the exercise price is above the market price. So seems like we cannot consider it, right? Okay, but wait, you read on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Okay, let me ask you something. I changed the scenario a bit. What if I tell you like this? The market price is 20. Okay, the exercise price is only 21. If you buy from outside, it is cheaper. It's cheaper, but you buy from me is more expensive. Yeah, maybe you tell me, no lah, why would I want to buy from you? I buy from outside easier, right? But I tell you this, if you buy from me, yeah, I know it's a bit expensive. You buy from me, I know it's a bit expensive. But if you buy from me, you straight away control the company. You buy from other people outside, other people may not want to sell you, But now I sell you a little bit expensive only. But you can straight away control the subsidy. And I tell you, if you control the subsidy, you can earn more money. What is that extra $1, right? I can guarantee you, you buy from me cheap, expensive a bit, but don't worry. In the future, you can earn back the money one. Ladies and gentlemen, assuming what I say is correct, do you think you will buy from me? Type yes if you think that you will buy from me. Assuming what I say is correct, assuming that if you really buy from me, you can control the subsidiary and you can gain a lot of benefit. If this is true, are you willing to spend a little bit more expensive to buy from me? Type yes if you think that you are willing to spend more expensive to buy from me, then you will get a lot of benefit in the future. I'm sure that you can make a rational decision. A rational person will say, of course lah. If what you tell me is correct, you better don't scam me. You scam me, I slap you. No, I don't scam you. It is correct one. So that's why you will buy from me. As such, ladies and gentlemen, you look at this. Is this true? Green core is profitable for a number of years. You see, green core very profitable one. Share price is also on a upward trend. Now is 20. Tomorrow maybe 22 already, So that's why it is expected to continue. And by doing that, it will increase the ownership to 60%. It is believed that there will be additional cost saving if the additional shares are acquired, as decision at the board level could be made more efficiently. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, this one you can then add on. Despite the exercise price is higher, Chucker Core can gain a lot of benefit by exercising the share option. This includes, I think you copy from the case. Just copy, copy, paste in. Then you say, as such, it appears that the share option is substantive and it should be taken into consideration for it should be taken into consideration in determining whether Green Core is a subsidiary. Okay, since then I want to say about this one. Okay, as Chucker Core would increase ownership to 60% should they exercise the right, control is achieved. Green Core should be treated as a subsidiary. Okay, done. So at least, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you only the thought process. The thought process. So it is actually something very logical. If you can remember what I tell you, the illustration that I asked you, do you buy or you won't buy? You look at this, you will buy. They will buy. It is going to make them to have more value if they really do so. So they will buy. So that's why now you learn something. Now you learn that potential voting right is taken into account in considering whether we have control. How do you know? It must be substantive. Substantive means it must be currently exercisable, and it must be likely for the entity to exercise the right. Okay, so yeah, that I guess that will be for question 1. I don't think I have enough time to go through the other question here with you. So because now it's 9:11 already, because you see, I still have 2 illustrations that I want to go through. I want to go through ethics with you. At least now you get an idea already. How are you supposed to write answers involving accounting standard like this? Okay, you can use your own words, use your logic, just write something. Just write something. Then next, I'm going to tell you about ethics. You will see this question, this sitting the ethics question. How are you supposed to write the ethics answer? And finally, I will also teach you how to write investor focused question. Okay, so yeah, I wish I have more time. I want to go through this with you also. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not go through this, right, you should go through this question. This is a very good question. This is a very good question. It allows you to understand a lot about how to calculate the fair value of the net asset. They also give you some example that involve current asset and the database. Okay. Anyway, if you look through the answer, you don't understand, right? You want to ask me, can you reach me? Yes, my Facebook inbox. You just drop me a message if you want more clarification on the question for this. I will reply you when I'm free. Okay, I'll reply when I'm free. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let us go to question number 2 now. Okay, question number 2. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you, SBR question number 2, definitely there is a question on ethics. Now, it's just that this question is a bit special, It's a bit special because they put the ethics in the first part. Then the remaining part is accounting treatment. Okay, it's possible. And just take note, if ethics is examined, professional marks are given. Now, how do you get these professional marks? Simple. If your ethics, right, you write it in a very good way, in a very professional way, the 2 marks are automatic. They are automatic. So which means good student who can score full mark for this, right? Guaranteed that 2 marks is you. Okay, I can tell you guaranteed. Because it is unlikely that a student will score 6 marks, but then at the same time, the student not professional. It's quite unlikely. Student who score full mark should be professional student. Okay, although there might be some exception, but I'll tell you, generally, if you can score full mark, professional mark, 2 marks should be yours. So maybe you can't score the full 2 marks. It's okay. At least 1 mark you'll be able to get. So I'm going to go through these 2 questions only. Okay, these 2 questions before we move on to the investor focus question. Okay, so word processor. Let us do this. Okay, what's the first question? Discuss the appropriateness of Mr. Ravi accounting treatment of foreign exchange gain on the retranslation of foreign subsidiary, which is held for sale. Now, if you look at this, right, start to search your knowledge. Foreign subsidiary, foreign exchange gain, recognized at where? OCI. Okay, so it should be recognized in OCI. And if you remember what you study, you will know that this foreign exchange gain on the retranslation of this foreign subsidiary is one of the special OCI in which it represents item that may be reclassified back to SOPL. All right, this one should be in your head. So immediately I bring this in. Regardless of what they say, I'm going to say that the gain on retranslation of foreign subsidiary must be recognized in OCI. And this represent item that may be reclassified back to SOPL. Then I saw here held for sale. Then maybe I can say, if the foreign subsidiary is sold, okay, the cumulative gain or loss, okay, the cumulative gain or loss in the translation reserve, okay, will be reclassified back from OCI to SOPL. That's what I'm going to say. Because I see something like held for sale. Okay, I see something like held for sale. So I suddenly thought of this. If the foreign subsidiary is being sold, then the gain or loss will be reclassified back from OCI to SOPL. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I continue, right, I think you will benefit from this info. On your piece of paper, you jot this down. You jot this down. Now, sometimes students ask me, hey, how do you remember OCI? How do you remember what items go to OCI? I will tell you, there's only one way. Memorize lah, okay? Because OCI, sometimes you have logic, sometimes there's no logic one. So I'll tell you like this. OCI, if we talk about items that can be reclassified from OCI to SOPL, there are only 3 items. How you like that? There are only 3 items. You remember these 3 law? Okay, the rest of the other OCI is the one that cannot be reclassified. That's how I remember. So what are the 3? You learn the first one already. The first one is translation, okay, of foreign subsidy. Okay, translation of foreign subsidy. Second one is cash flow hedge. Under hedge accounting, cash flow hedge. The third one is investment in debt instrument. Investment in debt instrument at fair value through OCI. Only these three items are the items that can be reclassified from OCI to SOPL. Okay, maybe you want to ask me, hey, what about OCI items that cannot be reclassified from OCI to SOPL? Now, what are they? Okay, I'll tell you what I remember. First, revaluation gain under the PPE standard, as well as the intangible asset standard. Defined benefit plan. Okay, defined benefit plan under IAS 19. You know, the so-called gain or loss on remeasurement. Okay, on pension, the gain or loss on remeasurement, that one goes to OCI. What else? Investment in equity instrument at fair value through OCI. Okay, investment in equity instrument at fair value through OCI. Take note, for this one is not for trading, and there must be an irrevocable election. Okay, do I miss out anything? Maybe it's a good idea you write this down also. Here, under defined benefit plan, the gain or loss on remeasurement, including asset ceiling adjustment. Okay, including asset ceiling adjustment. All right, I don't think I miss out any. Okay, I don't think I miss out any. So you see, what I'm telling you is, before exam, please spend some time, go through this OCI list. Are there at least in exam you don't write wrongly? Because student can write this one wrongly. Make sure you are careful about this, right? Make sure you are careful about this. Huh? There are not many items that can be recognized in OCI. In fact, very limited only. Very limited only. Yeah? So it will be worthwhile for you to remember. Okay, to remember it, it will be worthwhile. So yeah, you may want to screenshot this, you may want to jot this down, up to you. But I just list it out for you for the benefit of your exam. All right, so yeah, I give you 5 seconds. Okay, I give you 5 seconds because I want to read the question already. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, so roughly we know already the answer for this. Let us look at exhibit number 1. Okay. On 1st of October 20X7, the finance director, Miss Malgan, a financial accountant. So there is a finance director recruited Mr. Ravi as an ACCA student accountant. ACCA student accountant means still studying for ACCA on a temporary employment contract, or temporary, which can be terminated by either party without reason. You, how you like this kind of contract? Imagine if you are working, imagine you are working, terminated by either party without reason. So one day you will go to office, right? One day you go to office, the boss say, you know what? As per the contract, I can terminate you anytime without reason. You are terminated. Bye-bye. Huh? Why? No, I don't tell you because the contract says I cannot tell you. Huh? Like that? Suddenly jobless. Oh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, if you are working under this contract, are you stressed or not? If you tell me you are stressed, right? You type 444. Anyone here stressed? You imagine yourself working in this kind of contract. You stressed, ka? 444 to show me that you are stressed. I will be stressed, if I know that I work under this. Anytime can terminate. I will be, I'll be doomed. I will die, I tell you, cannot tahan. You really cannot tahan. You see, this Alice say, bye. Just bye. Better don't work with this kind of company. Okay, you know why? Ethical issue. Ethical issue. I think I can write some point already. Okay, I think I can write some point. Temporary employment contract which can be terminated by either party without reason. Is it fair for Mr. Ravi? That is ethical. Is ethically, can they do that? Maybe you tell me, the law says can leh. Yeah, the law says can. Ethically, are you a good person? You see, after Choi, after you pass away, when you open your eyes, you see whether you see angels or you see someone with the fog, then you know already. Yeah, okay, so intimidation. Yeah, so maybe there are some intimidation. So I write it down. You see, as you read now, you can think of some point already. You can write this down. Intimidation. Very good. Now, I tell you, I always enjoy reading ethics question. I find that the examiner is a genius, I tell you. When they write ethical question, it feels so real. And I can imagine a drama is unfolding in front of my eyes. Macam was drama like that. Yeah, I remember there's a particular sitting, in which after the SBR exam, some people go to, Xiao Hong Su. I think as an SBR student, you know what is Xiao Hong Su. So they go Xiao Hong Su and they say, wow, the SBR examiner can be a director of a movie, or write the ethics case like drama like that. I agree. Sometimes you really will like watch drama, very fun. But okay, it's okay. You don't need to be stressed. When the case is fun, you will have a lot of things to write. It will be easy for you to score this 6 marks. Trust me, the ethical one, how do you write? You imagine yourself as this person. You happy or not? You're not happy, not ethical. Okay, just like that. Mr. Ravi has found it difficult to find. Mr. Ravi is a staff. Difficult to find employment, or very difficult to find a job now. And therefore accepted the risk attached. So no choice lah. Beggars cannot be choosers, right? So no choice to accept law. However, the jurisdiction has law which protects employee from termination due to discrimination. So there are some law that protects employee from termination due to discrimination. So without reason, don't know whether is it discrimination. Not sure, but anyway, we read. Mr. Ravi has been told by Mr. Malgan that there have been a global slowdown in business, and the biggest uncertainty is customer demand. Okay, of course, COVID-19. She has therefore impressed upon Mr. Ravi. Read carefully. The she here is Miss Malgan, the finance director. The finance director has therefore impressed upon Mr. Ravi. Now, you might be confused with this wording, but impressed upon Mr. Ravi means give Mr. Ravi an impression. Okay, meaning to say give Mr. Ravi a message. That the company profitability target are based on achieving 30% higher net profit than their nearest competitor. So you see, there is a profitability target. Okay, there is a profitability target. Profitability target, okay, of achieving 30% higher net profit from competitor. Wow, stress. Stress, You must have higher 30% net profit. Otherwise, you may lose the job. What is this? Self-interest. Okay? So they might have a self-interest. Self-interest to achieve the target. Maybe to achieve the target, or maybe worse still, to keep your employment. So sad. Because now it's so difficult to find jobs, right? So difficult to find employment. So maybe they have self-interest to keep the employment also. Now, when this happen, you may act unethically. Okay, you may act unethically. Then Miss Malgan is partly remunerated through profit-related pay. Oh, this one, gg.com. the director has a profit-related pay. This one, jialat susah already. Okay, this one, so sure there is a self-interest to maximize, profit. Okay, to maximize remuneration. Confirm there is a self-interest here. Confirm. Okay. Miss Morgan has been under significant pressure. So pressure from who? From the board of director. So the board of director give her pressure to meet performance target. Okay, and then she would normally prepare year-end financial statement. For the current year-end, she has delegated this task to Mr. Ravi. Wait, who is Mr. Ravi? ACCA student accountant. So what happened here is Miss Morgan, okay, Miss Morgan delegated the task of preparing financial statement to Mr. Ravi. Now, what's the issue of this? Yes, exactly, Alice. Thank you very much. Yeah, we start to wonder, this person has the professional competency and due care or not? So, it's just a student. Imagine I ask you, nah, this listed company financial statement, you help me do? How? Don't know. Don't know. So, stress, stress. So, as such, maybe you can say, you can elaborate something like the Mr. Ravi, okay, would need guidance lah. Okay, would need guidance in preparing financial statement. Okay, and Miss Morgan should provide assistance lah, rather than let that person die himself lah. So bad, right? So bad. Why would you want someone to die? Now, you know why? This one called in Mandarin lah. In Mandarin, there is a word that I like. 金盆洗手. You heard of it? You take a gold ball, you wash your hand. It means figuratively, it means you want to tai chi your responsibility away. You want to tai chi your responsibility away, and you say, no, this one, we let that person die. It's like, I want you to die. I just want that person to be blamed in case of anything is wrong. So is that true? You read on, is that true? But I start to wonder, this is called politics. For those of you who, who are maybe if you have already started working, you know what I'm talking about in terms of office politics. People tai chi here and there. Suddenly, for no reason, you kena arrow, pong. You also don't know why. How you die, also you don't know. That is called politics. So now, somehow my past fear get triggered. I look at this, I start to feel, hey, this person want to arrow me, is it? Want to arrow me, is it? So very dangerous. We read on to see whether is it true or not. Mr. Ravi has included, so the student accountant included in the profit or loss. Take note, include in profit or loss, foreign exchange gain from retranslation of foreign subsidiary. No, I know already. This one confirm wrong. Okay, this one confirm wrong. So I put it down. Okay, this is a wrong accounting treatment. Okay, wrong accounting treatment. Another issue of breach of professional competence and due care. Remember, when there is an error, in the accounting treatment, you can say not competent. Okay, so there is a breach of professional competence and due care. So I know the first one is very easy. I think I can write already. The first part. Okay, what else? You see, Mr. Ravi has emailed Miss Morgan informing her on the accounting treatment. Smart guy. Very smart. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are working, right, or if you haven't worked, you want to work in the future, right? This email can protect yourself from a lot of trouble. Like in this case, you are not sure about this accounting treatment, so you email this person, ask for this person to confirm. So at least there is a black and white to protect you. There is a black and white to protect you. Trust me. Email, a lot of people love it because, if you watch, what is that? There is a Singapore movie that I watched last time. It's called Just Follow Law. Okay, don't know whether you watch it or not. They say CC, right? You know what CC? When you send email, you CC someone. You know what CC stands for? CC stands for cover carton. No, it's carbon copy. But I like the joke. So yeah, this one email very smart. So although Miss Morgan is an expert in IFRS, you see, this Miss Morgan is an expert. She did not comment on this incorrect accounting treatment. Why? Why? Okay. A bit scary, right? A bit scary. No, lack of integrity, maybe? Lack of integrity? Purposely, maybe this Miss Morgan, no, maybe this Miss Morgan, no. I know this is wrong, but, I get profit, I get my bonus if there's a profit, I think I will just keep quiet, I think I'll just keep quiet. Yeah, so professional behavior breach, huh? Yeah, okay. I think we can write this also. Okay, professional behavior breach, huh? Okay, then finally, after the financial statement have been published, so you thought, published financial statement already no issue. Miss Morgan disciplined Mr. Ravi. Why? Why? You see, for the incorrect accounting treatment. This one really is, like what I tell you, for no reason kena error. Already email, already inform accounting treatment, keep quiet some more. Suddenly after publish, want to discipline this Mr. Ravi. Walao eh. I already email you, you never tell me publish already, then you scold me and whatever. But then, despite this, she is prepared to make his employment contract permanent. Have you ever encountered this situation, ladies and gentlemen? Like someone scold you, like very badly, or sometimes, sometimes, so sometimes, maybe I don't know, maybe some of you will get triggered or what. Maybe when you are young or whatever, then your parent beats you. I don't know whether your parents beats you or not, but my parents used to beat me. They beat you, then afterward they feel guilty. They say, okay, I bring you go eat ice cream. So are you rewarding me or are you punishing me? I also get very confused. I get very confused. Yeah, 给你一巴掌再给你一糖. That is the meaning. So bad. Yeah, so bad, Michelle. I agree. You know why? You know why people do like this? I use Mandarin word. 做戏 lah. This one just like drama like that. This Miss Morgan, discipline is just to show people, you see, I am a very professional manager. I know this is wrong, but it's your fault. It's your fault. You never tell me, so I discipline you. Then the whole office know, everyone know that I'm a responsible person. You are the wrong person. I'm a good person, so I protect myself by disciplining other people. Then behind the scenes, he say, actually, I feel very bad. Okay lah, I secretly make him a permanent employment contract lah. That is the reason lah. That's why I love ethics question. This can happen in real life, This can happen in real life. So you can, for the last point, right? For the last point, okay, for the last point, maybe you can say something like, okay, maybe you can say something like this. You can say that this action by Miss Morgan seems to wait, I rewrite this. Pressure, okay, or performance target, okay, might cause Miss Morgan to apply a less strict discipline action against Mr. Ravi, okay, and it may indicate that Miss Morgan is is secretly promoting and rewarding unethical behavior, something like that. Okay, so you see, we have write this point one by one. All you need to do is to elaborate this point. You can move on already. Okay, you can move on already. That is one way to answer ethics question, is to look at the case. This one means what? This one means what? Just comment it one by one. So yeah, let me just quickly draft this answer out. You see how I draft. Okay, because this is what you should do in exam. When you are in exam, you put in the point form like this. After you put in the point form, you go to the beginning, you retype the answer to make it full sentence. The benefit of this is, if in case you don't have time, you still submit this point form lah. And the examiner look at this, maybe the examiner or the marker won't be happy. Maybe they will be like, why this student write point form? But don't forget, examiner or marker knows that you are under time pressure. At least they see you try. Can you get some marks? Maybe, you never know. I'm not encouraging you to write like this, but I'm telling you, in case if there's not enough time, at least the answer submitted has point form. Better than nothing. So it is not a good idea to use this scratch pad. Don't use this. In fact, I will tell students, just forget about this scratch pad. You want to do planning, you plan inside word processor. Easier. Okay, so everything is They will read through. Now, let us write this. Okay, discuss the appropriateness of Mr. Ravi accounting treatment. Okay, now I want to use this method. Copy from case, accounting treatment, apply, comment, opinion. Okay, I copy from case first. This one. Only one sentence. Okay, copy from case. Mr. Ravi is included in profit or loss, the foreign exchange gain in or whatever. You can say the accounting treatment above is not appropriate. You see, the question asks you for appropriateness. Make your answer clear. Not appropriate. Make it clear. If it is not appropriate, just say it is not appropriate. This is because foreign exchange gains on retranslation of foreign subsidiary should be recognized in other comprehensive income, OCI. Now, you see, we will put in this OCI as the short form. Here, I put in the full form first, then put OCI like this. Then afterward, I can just use OCI. Oh, Dinesh is in. Dinesh is. All the best. I'm TY former student. Would I pass? Oh, thank you very much, Dinesh. I hope you can clear your subsequent paper also. Thanks for dropping by, Dinesh. Nice to see you here in the live stream. Anyway, now to continue this, right? Foreign exchange gain should be recognized in OCI. Okay, then I will say, comma, items that may be reclassified back to SOPL, right? Item that may be reclassified back to SOPL. Okay, then you can say, I will just say this. If the foreign subsidiary is sold, the cumulative gain or loss in the translation reserve will be reclassified back from OCI to SOPL. I put the short form here first. Statement of profit or loss. Okay. To make my answer even clearer, you can say, since the foreign subsidiary is only held for sale, you see, since it is only held for sale, okay, not sold during the year, the gain on retranslation of foreign subsidiary should be recognized in OCI. And we are done. Okay, we are done. All right, so it's just a very short answer. You see, first copy from the case, then I say not appropriate, then what is the accounting treatment? Conclusion. It is only held for sale. It's not sold. So gain on retranslation should be recognized in OCI. To stop. And you move on to the next question now. Okay, ethical. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I have a lot of points here. I just want to make it to full sentence. Okay, so you see, I quickly write it. You just observe how I make it. So we can say, Mr. Ravi is offered temporary employment contract which can be terminated by either party without reason. Okay, then I remember there is a law. Although the jurisdiction has law which protects employee from termination due to discrimination, this employment contract may not be fair to Mr. Ravi. Okay? This is because Mr. Ravi may be pressured into performing unethical behavior, okay, in order to keep his employment. Okay, so yeah, you see, we just try to explain. This one may not be fair because he may be pressured into this unethical behavior to keep his employment. So I remember that there is also this okay, especially as it is difficult to find employment. You see, as I explain, right, I don't go and tell you, ACCA Code of Ethics says confidentiality is what, objectivity is what is self-interest, what is intimidation. I don't know, but I am trying to apply. Copy from case, comment. You see, copy from case. This is my comment. May not be fair is my comment. Okay, and why? Maybe it will be pressured into doing some unethical behavior. To support, I copy something from a case. You just keep on do this. Copy, apply, copy, apply, copy, apply, copy, apply. Just keep on doing this. You're going to get some answer one. So, okay, intimidation. Okay, I may write this later. So let's see. Because I want to see how can I structure this. Okay, then there's this profitability target. Okay. Maybe I'll just put here. There is also a potential intimidation threat. Okay, as a result of this contract. Just a short one. Okay, the profitability target of the company is to achieve 30% higher net profit than their nearest competitor. Okay, this can create self-interest threat among the staff of the company to achieve the target and to keep their employment. For Miss Morgan, since her remuneration is partly profit-related pay, there will be a self-interest threat for her to maximize profit, to maximize her remuneration. Ms. Morgan has also delegated the task of preparing financial statement to Mr. Ravi. Mr. Ravi is an ACCA student accountant. Therefore, it is doubtful on whether he possesses the relevant professional competence and due care to prepare financial statement. Mr. Ravi will need guidance in preparing financial statement, and Ms. Morgan should provide assistance to him. Okay, Mr. Ravi has included in profit and loss this one. Okay, this indicates wrong accounting treatment, which also indicates a breach of professional competence and due care. Okay, although Ms. Morgan is an expert in IFRS standard, she did not comment on this incorrect accounting treatment of the foreign exchange gain, despite the fact that, I will copy from the case, despite the fact that Mr. Ravi has emailed her about the accounting treatment. This shows a lack of integrity and professional behavior of Ms. Morgan. After financial statement has been published, Ms. Morgan disciplined for the incorrect accounting treatment. However, despite this, blah, 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 this shows that the pressure or performance target might cause Ms. Morgan to apply a less strict discipline action against Mr. Ravi. And it may indicate that Ms. Morgan is secretly promoting and rewarding unethical behavior. Okay, so yeah, I think that will be enough already, This kind of answer, you see, is quite long already. By going through the case, you can just elaborate, you will get this answer. Good enough. 6 marks is more than enough already. Okay, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I have now done this. So yeah, now it's 9:47. Okay, just in time. I will have enough time to go through one more question with you, where I want to show you, if you get a question on investor focus, how do you write? Yeah, so let me just close this. Okay, let me just close this. Don't worry, you can replay this live stream. So if you need to look at the sample answer, you just replay back. You will be able to type as you follow. Okay, so let me just close this. Now I want to jump to question number 4. This one. Explain the principles of good disclosure, which should be used to inform investor, which should be used to inform investor regarding the company holding of crypto asset. Cryptocurrency, there is a technical article on this. Okay, there's a technical article on this, but I think that you should have read it already. There is no need to refer to any exhibit when answering part A. So you see this one, no need to refer exhibit. We can just straight away answer 6 marks. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, this is an investor-focused question. Why? Because the word investor is here. Okay, it's obvious lah. So this is an investor-focused question. Now, there is a tips one, if you want to answer investor-focused question, there are some ways that you can follow which can generate a lot of very good answer. Now, what is that? Okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you something. To answer this kind of question, right, you just look at this. Okay, just look at this. May the conceptual framework be reviewed. Okay, may the conceptual framework be reviewed. Now, why? Okay, just to let you know, this is actually said by my student, okay, who got the Malaysian number 1 in the September 2021. She actually said this, She said this, I think she said this after I done my last revision class or before the exam. I can't remember, but she really said this, in the group chat, and I was like, okay, okay. But I find it very useful because you know why? Do you know that actually, ACCA SBR exam, there is this secret, which I'm going to tell you. And this secret is a true secret. I have students who pass SBR because of this statement. You know, this particular student of mine, I mean, she struggled quite for a few sitting already. Okay, so I think she tried to pass her SBR, but somehow just stuck at 40 something. But then is at this sitting, she heard of this, Then because I said in class, in SBR, actually every question, if you use conceptual framework and if you use it properly, you can get some marks. It is true, If you don't believe me, you go and check. What is that? You go and check the technical article. They are mentioned about if you can use the principle in the conceptual framework to answer. And if you're not so sure what standard to use, you fall back to this, you write something or this. The examiner, if they read through, they see that your answer is proper, they will give you the marks. And she passed, she passed, 50 plus, she passed, just because every question, she tried her best to write this. So I'm telling you this secret now, because my student really follow this advice. If they don't know what to write, they just somehow write conceptual framework. They pass, But again, of course, I'm not asking you to write the entire conceptual framework out. It's impossible. I'm not asking you to write the entire conceptual framework out. I'm asking you, again, to use this method. Instead of quoting accounting treatment, you quote the conceptual framework principle and you try and write something. You may get lucky, you may get lucky. And most importantly, apply. If there's no application, you don't get the marks. Must apply. Follow this, you can pass one. So I'm going to show you how do you use conceptual framework to answer this. I'm going to just use conceptual framework to answer this. You look at how I answer. Now, first of all, you have to understand that when the question asks for principle of good disclosure, remember, who are you disclosing your information to? Of course, we disclose it to investor. Now, of course, we are disclosing it to investor. And the main question to ask is, what does the investor want to know? So reference is made to the qualitative characteristic of useful financial information. Okay, reference is made to the qualitative characteristic of useful financial information. You would remember this if I tell you something on relevance. You would remember if I tell you something on faithful representation. Okay, let's do a quick recap. Okay, let's just do a quick recap. Relevance means what? Relevance means if something is relevant, it is capable of making changes to someone. That is called relevant. Like if I tell you conceptual framework is important, it is relevant to your exam. You want to know this information. Relevant needs to be predictive. You must give information that allows people to predict the future. Relevance must be confirmatory as well. Okay, it must be confirmatory, meaning to say it must help you to confirm the prediction of the past. But be careful, the concept of materiality applies here. You see, when I conduct this live stream, okay, originally I thought 1.5 hours, but as I planned, I realized cannot lah. I need 2 hours. In 2 hours, can I teach you everything on SBR? Cannot lah. So I must choose the very important thing to share with you. That is called materiality. I have to choose. You know, I have a lot of things that I want to tell you, but I choose the one that I feel will be useful to you. Right? You can definitely use in exam one. So that's why I choose the very important one. So disclosure follows this principle as well. Try to say something that is relevant, but consider materiality. Now, faithful representation may not be that useful for disclosure because faithful representation means completeness. Yeah, completeness. Maybe you can say something on when they disclose, they must put in all the information, no omission. You know, it must be neutral. Then free from error. Okay, we will see. We don't use everything. I will select which one to write for you. Not just this. Remember the enhancing qualitative characteristic. Enhancing qualitative characteristic. Now, how do I remember this? I remember using the short form CVTU. CV, curriculum vitae TU. CVTU. C for comparability. C for comparability. V for verifiability. T for timeliness. U for understandability. Okay, CVTU. Now, with this framework, right, you cannot tell me you don't know anything to write. Can I write something on relevant? I think so. So how do I give good disclosure for crypto asset? I give relevant info. I consider materiality. I must consider comparability. You know, I must consider comparability. I want the investor to be able to compare my company with another company. I want them to be able to compare the trend as well. Then maybe I should also talk about understandability. Crypto is very confusing. It's very technical. I want to make them understand. So I try to use simple language. I try to avoid jargon. I try to clarify the terms. I try to present it in a logical way. You know, things like that. Okay, things like that. If you read the technical article, there are some other points which is under relevant, like entity specific. We try and give entity specific info rather than an information which you can copy and paste from Wikipedia. That one I can also Google. So try to give something that is more specific to your business, to your company, entity specific information. Maybe you want to disclose about the accounting policy that you use for crypto. Perhaps your cryptocurrency is intangible asset. The technical article did say about this. It should be intangible asset. You may want to explain to them that you treat the intangible asset as you treat the crypto as intangible asset, and you tell them the accounting policy. Do you use cost model? Do you use revaluation model? You know, maybe if you want, another point you want to say, consider also cost and benefit. Because if you remember in the framework, they also say providing useful information requires cost. So you must make sure the benefit exceed the cost. You don't simply just disclose information without considering the cost. Okay, so you have this point already. You cannot get 0 mark already. You surely have something to write. So I'm going to just quickly, use this principle that I tell you. I write something for you. You should be able to write something like this in the exam. Although you tell me, Wow, this one I didn't learn, but if you remember conceptual framework, can you get at least 4 marks? I think it is very possible. You only want to pass, right? Pass means more than 3 marks for this. Okay, pass means more than 3 marks. So if you want to get 3 to 4, is it possible? Very possible. I show you. Okay, first I want to talk about relevance. Okay, relevant. So maybe I can say in disclosing crypto asset, relevant information should be provided to the investor. Okay, relevant information should be provided to investor. Okay, in particular, investor would prefer entity specific information, okay, on the crypto asset held by the company, okay, rather than standardized description on crypto asset. Okay, the investor might also be interested in the accounting policy of crypto asset. For example, crypto asset could be an intangible asset. Could be classified as intangible asset. Details such as the classification, the measurement, okay, and the recognition would be useful so that investor can use this information to predict future cash flows of the company. You see, this is a very powerful word for investor focused question. Predict future cash flow. Find some way you just goreng in, you can get the marks one. Okay, you can get the marks one. So you see, I just talk about a few points. Relevant, entity specific, accounting policy. But we need to consider materiality also, right? However, in disclosing information of crypto asset, materiality should be taken into account. This is to prevent excessive disclosure in the financial statement, which can increase the length of the financial statement unnecessary. You see, we consider materiality. Why? We want to prevent us from disclosing too much, which can make financial statement too long. As you know, none of us like to read very thick textbook. We don't want that. Okay, I know you have the heart. You may have nightmare going through so many notes for SBR. We don't like that. So in working, when we are working, when we become investor, we also don't like that. So that's why materiality should be taken into account. Okay, so maybe you can say the entity should prioritize important information to be disclosed in the financial statement. Okay, prioritize important information on crypto asset. Okay. Then comparability. Okay, comparability. An entity should also aim to provide information on crypto asset, which allows the entity, which allows the investor to compare the crypto asset over time, as well as with other entities. Okay, this will allow investor to make decisions more effectively. Okay, understandability. Okay, as crypto assets are very technical or complicated in nature, okay, as they are very technical or complicated in nature, the entity should try to use simple and direct language to explain crypto asset. Okay, jargons or specific terms should be avoided if possible. If it is not possible to avoid jargons means the special terms, an explanation on the terms should be given so that investor can understand the information presented. All right. The entity should also organize the information presented in a logical and easy to follow manner. You see, logical, you see, as it's the same as per how you present your answer for SBR. You try and present it logically, when people read, they can easy to follow. The same principle. Okay. Important information. Information should be highlighted. Finally, this one is optional already, because if you can write, the top few part, right, you can almost get full mark already. Okay, almost get full marks. It's very long answer already. I just write you one more point for you to consider. Finally, in determining disclosure for crypto asset, the entity should ensure that the potential benefit from the disclosure exceed the cost of disclosure. That's all. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, at least now you see, this is how we use the principle in the conceptual framework, where we apply principle like relevance. Of course, you need to learn something like entity specific. We apply materiality, we apply comparability, we apply understandability, we also apply cost and benefit to write some answer, which makes sense, which makes sense when there is an investor focused question. So, ladies and gentlemen, you learn something extremely valuable. If you see something on investor focus, immediately go and think of something like this. Something like this, relevant, faithful representation, CVTU. Okay, and yeah, let me also give you two more things that you can consider in your answer. These are normally very useful, if you want to write something. Okay, this is what you can write. All right, you can also write something like this. Objective of financial statement, right, is to provide useful information. Okay, is to provide useful information. And useful information means information which allows the investor to assess future cash flow. Okay, it allows the investor to assess future cash flow. It also allows the investor to assess stewardship. Okay, assess stewardship of the management. So these are the terms that sometimes we can use as well. So future cash flow, because cash is king. Ultimately, when investors want to invest in you, is because they believe that the company can generate future cash flow. And stewardship is how the management take care of the asset of the company. We don't want the management to simply misuse the asset. We want to make sure that they take good care, they become a good steward of the asset, of the investment by the investor. Okay, so these two, right? Apart from the qualitative characteristic, then is these 2 points. So to make you see the link, useful information is actually the so-called qualitative characteristic of useful financial info. All right, so just in time, 10:07. Okay, so yeah, I have been live for 2 hours already. Okay, I hope that these 2 hours has been very, has been informative to you. Okay, trust me, because I purposely select three key things for SBI you have to know. How to write answers for involving accounting standard, how to write ethics, and how to write question involve investor focus. So these three would be the general things that you will see in the SBI exam. I hope that you can apply this in your actual exam, and hopefully you get the question that you are familiar with. So if you have any question, just feel free to drop in the chat box now. I can answer to you. So as you type your answer, or maybe you're still listening, let me just say this. Now you still have a few days before the SBI exam. What should you do? This is what you should do. First, get a summary of SBR standard. You can find it online. Accountancy, AC or WTNC has it. Open Tuition has it. Your teacher may even have it. Get the summary. Read through the summary. Remember the keyword, because remembering keywords should be done before the exam. You try to remember it in your short-term or long-term memory, up to you. But most of you, I know you will remember it in your short-term memory. Just try and remember the keywords. You are going to use that, as I told you, because you need to write the accounting treatment. So you have to spend time these few days, try to remember the keyword. Now maybe you tell me, hey, but there are some standard that I don't understand. Forget about it. You cannot learn the new standard now. Okay, forget about it. Don't learn something new now. Now you should just revise. You should just revise. And after you should spend one day, right? You should spend a few hours or whatever, depending on your time, to remember the keywords. After that, look through past year. If your lecturer give you their own model answer, look at your lecturer's model answer. Because lecturer's model answer will be easier to understand if compared to ACCA model answer. You look through those answer, or the answer that you have written in class, depending on what is your class style. Because my student, I guide them to write in class. So they will have a lot of questions there to refer. So for those students, especially my student, you read through all the answer that I written, or the answer you have written in class. Just that. Don't study something new. Just study something that you have studied before. Revise on that. And, God's willing, you go to exam, you can pass this paper. Okay, you can just pass this paper. All right, so that's all I want to tell you. All the best, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have any question, I don't see any question, right? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, to end this live stream, because this is also the fourth day of my live marathon, right? You answer me this question. Do you want to pass your ACCA exam? Answer with a very convincing yes in the group chat. Say yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to pass this paper, because remember, I start with this message and I also want to end with this message. You can only pass if you believe that you can pass. Okay? If you believe that you can pass, you can definitely pass this paper. Say yes if you want to pass this paper. Say yes. Keep on saying yes, and you will pass this paper. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best. All right? I wish you all the best. So, and hopefully the things that you study came out. Okay, hopefully the things that you study came out. The things that you don't study don't come out. Okay, and you will know what to do. Just remember, you write for almost every question. Try to write everything, whether you know or you don't know, just write something. Use the technique that I teach you. Just keep on writing. Use conceptual framework. Keep on writing. The more you write, the better chance you are at passing. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the best. Hey, wait. So all the best. Thank you very much for watching. Now, okay. Thank you very much for watching. Okay. So yeah, I'll see you again next time. Don't know when, but yeah, this live stream won't be the last. Okay. I think maybe once on and off, I may also do some live stream like this to share with you some techniques for other questions. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Bye bye.